They scrubbed Inside Out 2 to make sure that it, without a doubt, did not make conservatives mad. They stripped out an episode of a Pixar Disney Plus show to show moderates their kids could watch Disney Plus shows once more. But it has employees, former and current alike, angry and clicking the dislike button for Disney, and they're doing so in the mainstream media. We'll tell you why Pixar is flaming hot mad, and frankly, we're glad right now. Welcome, one and all. Welcome back to the channel that heeds the call to break down entertainment and drag the Holly Weirds kicking and screaming back to the mainstream middle, the sensible center, where money is made. Folks, we are here to talk about a very insane story, but it is one that it's circulating, it's out there, it's real. And that is that Pixar employees are furious, and they are now calling Pixar and Disney a conservative company. Seriously, really, we'll read it, we'll show it. And here we go, folks. Click the like button, and we're off to the crazy land races. Take a look at this. It's out of Movie Web by Richard Fink. Ex-Pixar employees reveal Disney's... Hang on a second. This is too good. Ex-Pixar employees reveal Disney's conservative views. It's 100% political. Yes, they're now claiming. And I guess, listen, if you are so far to the left that you think Disney has been conservative, then boy, oh boy, you must just be fun at parties. Your family must love you. But let's judge it based on what they say. Let's read it. We'll find out. Here's what we have. Former employees, this is plural, at Pixar have been left feeling worried and disappointed by Disney's decision to cut a gender-related story and character from the upcoming Pixar series Win or Lose. Chanel Stewart, or Chanel Stewart, I don't know, who voiced the character that was cut, had already expressed sadness over the cut storyline. Stewart isn't alone in those sentiments, though, as many past and present Pixar employees alike are now speaking up. Sarah Ligatic. Sarah Ligatic, a former Pixar assistant editor who consulted on the cut episode of Win or Lose, expressed dissatisfaction with Disney's decision to The Hollywood Reporter. Here's what the quote is. "It hardly surprised me, but it devastated me. For a long time, Disney has not been in the business of making great content. They have been in the business of making great profits." And I would say, well, they weren't so good at that. I mean, take a look at Strange World. Take a look at Lightyear. They weren't doing so good. Even as far back as 2 years ago, when I was at Pixar, we had a meeting with then CEO Bobby Chapek, and they were clear with us that they see animation as a conservative medium. Now, I love the way that this has been rephrased by MovieWeb, that Disney itself is conservative and that former employees of Pixar say that they're a conservative company. It's all about politics, when in fact, seems to me all they have is Bob Chapek, who is not the CEO, who was ousted because he was trying to moderate the company. He came and said, you know what? Our cartoons are actually not meant to be a vehicle for propaganda, for political partisan propaganda. And that was too divisive. That was just too much. Ligatic, who also revealed how upset this Ligatic person is for Chanel Stewart, saying, "I can't tell you how much I cried yesterday thinking about that conversation that David Lally had to have with Chanel or Channel. Don't know. Not only are you asking someone to play someone they're not, but to also get them to wrap their mind around a political conversation that is just so beyond them. The decision
asking them to play somebody they're not is literally the definition of an actor."
Exactly. But listen, it's traumatic, okay? You need therapy after having to be an actor when you've chosen an acting career. It's PTSD every day. The decision to cut that particular episode was announced just 1 month after Trump won the 2024 presidential election and was set to air on Disney Plus 1 month after the inauguration. A former Pixar employee was blunt when they said, "It's 100% political." noting that Disney had to pay $15 million to Trump, while Ligatic called out the quality of Disney's work. An unnamed current employee at Pixar went a step further and called out how Disney's decision was dangerous, saying, "The episode in its final form was so beautiful and beautifully illustrated some of the experiences of being of this particular variety of individual. And it was literally going to save lives by showing those who feel alone and in love that there are people out there who understand. It's very frustrating that Disney has decided to spend money to not save lives." So this is a double whammy, right? This is really going the extra mile. Not only is Disney conservative, Lauren, I see Lauren is beside himself. We got to go to him first for this. Lauren, not only is Disney conservative, but they're also killing people. Disney is killing people, or at least not saving people from a death that is, well, escapable. Disney is doing it simply by not being in the fringe, far left minority politically. What say you, Lauren?
My response to them is, this is why there are good Samaritan laws. I suggest you sue Disney.
Yes, please, we beg of you. Oh, can you imagine the content we can make? Nolan, can you imagine if the Pixar employees start suing Disney over this? Where are the Chapek walkouts?
But I don't think that the people, this isn't going to destroy any lives, because Disney isn't liable. Because remember, they signed up for Disney Plus. Disney's in the clear. They're good.
That's a good point.
Yep, that's a good point. Can't deny that. That's Disney lawyer logic right there. Disney lawyer logic 101. Hey, your entire family was deleted by an accident on Disney property. Too bad you had a Disney Plus subscription for 2 weeks and we gifted it to you through the mail. You didn't know about it, but yeah. That's Disney lawyer logic, baby. Vash, make it make sense, please. Make it make sense.
I wish I could. I mean, this story was wild. The original Hollywood Reporter story broke, I believe, a couple of days ago, featuring all these quotes, and it was just crazy. I mean, my mouth was agape for days after seeing some of the quotes from some of the insider sources that the Hollywood Reporter had on record here. Lichtek also goes on to say that Disney had this story in the can for 2 years, so they could have released it in a Biden presidency, and they chose not to. Just think about that, folks. Think about how crazy that is, that that your work is somehow more viable depending on what president is in office when you release said work. That's a crazy line of thinking there.
Do they think that when a different president comes into power, that the entire marketplace shifts? Do they not understand that the marketplace is essentially today the same as it was 6 months ago? It's the same. Disney learned something about the marketplace. They learned something and they adjusted.
Right. Based off of their own experiences, based on, hey, they had to foot the bill for, Pixar's mistakes and so forth, and going so far in one political direction. They were forced to moderate in order to better calibrate their content towards the audience. The thing about the polling and the election result and everything like that, this polling was well known, folks. And guess what? The market and some of the betting markets out there and some of the financial institutions, they were already making decisions and changes long before whatever happened in November. So Disney knew.
Go ahead, Matt. Finish the point.
No, I was just saying Disney knew the political winds, were not on their side, and they had to change course in order to get the wind back into their sails. And they knew that not only from the polling, what was revealed, that through all kinds of surveys and so forth, but also too, Disney themselves had experienced it for years leading up to that point.
Apologies, Vash. I cut you off unintentionally, accidentally. I apologize for that.
You're fine.
What I was going to say is that people are forgetting, and it's because people don't have time to pay this much attention to things like Pixar. People have real lives. They have to worry about finances. They have to worry about taking their kids to practice. There's like at least 1,000 things more important than the inner workings of Pixar, except that Pixar then disseminates their values to your children. So, well, here we are. People forget that Pixar was at the edge of collapse. Like, they scrubbed everything they could from Inside Out 2 to make sure that it was a box office success because they were in an existential quandary. If Inside Out 2 had been a flop, the same way the last half a dozen Pixar films had been, then Pixar may have been rolled into Disney animation. Like, that's where they were. This is not true.
To your point, this is why you don't make your movies or TV shows based off of whoever is in office. You never know where the political sphere is going to go. Who looks back on, like, say, old shows and be like, man, Dexter's Lab, that was such a great cartoon. But you know what really brought it home? The fact that it came out when Clinton was in office. Like, that was just A+ there.
But that's part of the problem here, though, is that they thought they knew who was going to be elected. They were absolutely certain and are still somewhat in denial of reality.
Well,
yes.
To Nolan's point, too, this is also why you get back to universal storytelling and storytelling that transcends time, culture, place. You know, like a certain franchise used to do back in the day. I think it was Joseph Campbell had something to do with it. I don't know, but Lauren, you probably know what that franchise was, right?
Stratosphere Conflict.
Ah, gotcha. Always get that one confused. But yes, this is why you make and Pixar used to be the best at this, right? They used to make films and shows that anybody could see themselves in the main characters, that anybody could relate to, whether you were 7 or 70. And when they got away from that and started to go, not just because the Hollywood Reporter, I believe Movie Web makes references as well. They call it individualized storytelling, I believe, or storytelling where it's coming from the author's perspective. It wasn't so much that. It was the shifting of the political spectrum when it came to such content being created. It was highlighting certain themes and certain, let's say, progressive themes that people had a problem with, especially when it came to exposing it to their kids.
Very well said. Very well said. As ever, folks, we endeavor to have a good time here on the Pro Channel, and I have to say that spending time with you, talking about things that truly matter, like the stories that shape our lives and our culture, well, it is the ride of a lifetime to steal from Bob Iger. And that's the only thing we'll steal from Bob because he has great security around his yacht. Folks, as we get ready to say goodbye, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, and stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment right on down below. Let us know your thoughts. We would love to hear from you. And folks, worry not, for more content is still on the way. 3 or 4 times a day. Let's do 4. I think that's better. And you know what? Don't forget that the Pro Show is live Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon Eastern. You can also join us for our friends on That Park Place, our partner program. We have a good time there too. Folks, until the next time we get the opportunity to have a good time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as ever, keep having fun.